design in the studio. I've got a scenic designer. If I wanted a film crew, I've contacted the film operations manager, and I got a camera crew, and their camera crew brought the stock. Once you're on your own, like you are in this new 21st century world, you have to do everything. You have to know how to edit. In BBC, I had an editor. I would just take him a script and sit with him, and he would do the editing. I didn't have to learn that skill. But if you can't find the editing tool on your computer, then it's a real problem. If you have Macs, then you've got iMovie. And iMovie on the Mac actually is very good. It's not complex. It doesn't do complex things. It's never as good as Adobe Premiere or Lightworks or anything like that, but it does the basic things that you would need for a social report. It allows you to
Well, this is a very interesting training course on TV reporting, social reporting. And well, I think that the best is still to come when we're going to get to actually do things by ourselves. But so far we have learned very interesting tools and the ways that we can do interviews and digital reporting. But I think that, you know, once we get to do the things ourselves and with our own stories, we're going to be a bit more empowered. So the rest of the day is going to be, I think, more interesting. So far we've had the TV Apex crew really show us a number of practical tools using the iPhone or the Android phone. So very simple tools to do TV reporting. And I think that's very important for to empower the global citizens that we don't actually need, you know, proper and full equipment. And that we can actually do very interesting reporting just using our phones. So I think that's very important so far.
My name is Maria Nash. I'm a disability and human rights campaigner. I fight for people's rights and for services, and I'm hoping to make a difference in the UK, in Europe, and hopefully internationally. I'm very interested in how to be able to engage with the different mediums, especially social media. I'm part of the Barnet Seniors Assembly, which deals with everything to do when you get old, for the elderly. There is a lack of motivation for older people to engage with this kind of social media. A lot of elderly people don't even have mobile phones, they don't even have computers, and yet the world demands of them that they keep pace. So I'm hoping that this will enable me to encourage them to make it more a daily occurrence, that they actually use a mobile phone, go on the computer, use Skype, use videoing, tell their stories and become part of the community instead of being excluded and isolated. I think it will give them a new lease of life. I also have a keen interest for disabled people, especially autistic people, that find it extremely difficult to get into social media and this type of conversations, and to encourage them that it's not as bad as they think.
Material that was there, but now with digital editing, it's so much simpler. But when you do it first, you know, it's a bit horrific. But once you get into it, you know, if you can spend an hour or two on it, you suddenly find it is pretty easy to do, and you won't be intimidated at all. It's making that first jump into the new age, and you're there. So, you know, we'll try and develop that as we go along. But we will try and do a few recorded ones. If there are people here who are really keen, like Catherine and know, on live.
As an immigrant who just arrived from Ireland, I was about 4 or 5. My parents couldn't get any work in Ireland, so they came over. So in the 60s, middle 60s. It was still, England at that time was very industrial and still had industrial heartland, even in London. So we had the Hovis, all the factories, the mills were very evident. It was a very different type of landscape or cityscape. So that was London in the 60s.
And what was it like at school?
At school, I went to a convent school in Victoria. It was a very old Victorian building, and it had formerly been an orphanage. And this school had bars on the window, so it was a very severe and austere place. It wasn't a very cosy environment. And we had nuns who in those days were very strict. And on each land, they had a prefect on each landing, so you had to move around the building in silence. So it was very formidable, very strict. It wasn't a cosy environment at all.
And in contrast to Ireland, what was Ireland?
Well, that was much warmer, but I think it was just that you have a religious order who were quite severe, and those were in those days you could still be sent to the headmistress and get hit on the hand if you did something wrong. So that still went on in those days. So, but it was an okay experience. It wasn't. It was just very severe and very austere.
And as a teenager?
Teenager was a bit mad. I think for most teenagers, rebellious. Yes.
Want to tell us a bit more about that?
Rebellious in the sense that we went to a convent school, but then my family were very left wing. So I moved to the left as well. Left wing, I became a Marxist, did my O-level project on Karl Marx at 16 at a convent school, Religion is the Opium of the People, you know, where we had nuns as tutors and teachers. I don't think they actually understood Karl Marx, but I was passed. Okay, any other questions? I think that's it, 2 minutes is done.
Okay, my name is Boyko, and I'm here to learn how to use the phone which I have. Today people have different devices, and they can use them in various ways. I'm interested to learn how to use my iPhone to tell stories, because in London I live and work with many Bulgarians who recently moved to the UK, and I would like to use my phone to record and preserve their stories. I really think that people are here to also learn from each other, because at this event I'm meeting people who have similar dreams, and by sharing our knowledge and learning about our own plans, we can better prepare for our missions.
My name's Sharon. I've been with GlobalNet 21 ever since it started on Meetup. I don't go to all the meetings because they tend to be when I'm at work. I did a lot of music in the 1990s. I was in various bands, including a heavy metal band and a ska band. And I noticed that back in those days it was really easy to get places to play in, very easy. But now it's so difficult. The licenses are very expensive, and one complaint is enough to shut down a music venue. So yeah, I'll definitely be covering that and getting opinions on that, and hopefully changing that. What it's done for me, it's made me think about what I actually want to report on, and I'm thinking that I would like to report on the lack of music venues for like big bands, and I think what I feel is a general attack on culture generally, with lots of music places being converted into real estate and coffee shops and so forth. So yes, I've got a better idea of what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I actually wanted to do with the information, but now I actually know what I want to do.
I'm Arianna. I'm here today because so I'm not really an expert in the technological field, and because I work with local communities, and especially in the field of sustainability and projects that deal with ethical and eco-friendly consumption, I would like to learn ways to put together documentaries of these projects and bring them to the people and show like how people can get creative in changing their environments. And I think social reporting and digital storytelling is a very good way to do it. So after today, I hope when I go home to be able to put together my first script for a social report, which I will start doing tomorrow. So I will go to the people running these projects, I will interview them, and I will put a nice video together. So I hope this will be my first outcome from the workshop today. So.